And it's like, it's crazy how easy it is to get started, but it's not just streaming. It's like, it opens up content creation to like, it's available to so many more people. But I wonder, I know that it'll create people making content that'll make good content and things like that they can advance. But also I wonder how much is it going to like make you have to sift through so much more just content, you know?
Dude, that's the point we're at now. Like,
I mean, that's us.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're literally that. No, I mean, think about like 2016, 2017, like that's only a few years ago. And at that point, like, okay, TikTok wasn't a thing. So people, if you were even going to the just like dopamine rush, like short form type of stuff, you'd go to Vine. And even Vine was more thought out. And like YouTube, there was less stuff. I mean, you could make money back then, but I feel like it's just every year people are more comfortable with the idea of making money on YouTube. So every year there's more people that go into that for that reason.
Right. It's been getting closer and closer to like people seeing it as a legitimate job.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I mean, I've always seen it as like, hey, if you can make money that way, like I see a job as you're getting income and you're doing something that is paying for you to live.
Yeah.
So I've always seen like, hey, if you can get yourself an audience on YouTube or whatever, but it's going beyond that to where it's the point where like now like people who aren't as in touch with like technology and social media and stuff like that are now seeing like, oh yeah, like that's a career.
Oh yeah.
Like, and I think it's the same thing happening with gaming right now, especially with it being brought to like esports being brought to like high schools and colleges.
Yeah.
Like people see it as like, maybe they don't even see it as a sport, but they see it in a similar way to football or something. It's like, oh, if you're really good at that, like special good, then you can make a living off of that because you're very specialized. You have a very specialized skill.
Yeah.
Similar to sports.
Yeah, definitely.
I honestly don't think in the general public esports will ever get the same respect that athletes do. And I think it's just because of you're not putting your body on the line, all that. Like you train and all that, you might get carpal tunnel, but other than that, there's really nothing that's gonna hurt you. Which I mean, I see that, but also I just like it as a person. I just like seeing people that are way better than me at stuff.
Yeah.
Like with a lot of skill, whether that's filmmaking or video games or sports.
Yeah.
I just really enjoy stuff like that. So
I think too with like esports, there's always going to be, because if you're watching a football game or you're watching a tennis match or a soccer match or you're watching volleyball or whatever, like there's different camera angles and like things with the rules are up for debate, but you can very clearly see what's happening. Whereas with esports, if somebody, let's say you're playing a game where you're playing tennis and it's like hyper detailed and the movements are really precise and it's really complicated to play, like it takes a lot of skill, but if you mess up, you could always be like, well, guys, it glitched. Or like, oh, guys, this and that. Like there's always going to be a layer there that I feel like is not really objective where people can like make it weird. I don't know.
That's true. You can kind of throw in a lot more excuses.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
That's the thing, especially growing up playing Call of Duty. Like, oh, it was lagging, bro.
Yeah.
It was lag. And it's almost like how you make fun of people like, oh, the wind messed up my shot in basketball.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
It's like in the same way as like how lag is in video games.
Yeah. Because, like, you know, you're watching Amari Cooper, like, go up to catch a pass. Like, if he just fumbles it and drops it, then...
He can't be like, lag.
Oh, there's lag.
Like, no, bro. Like, you just dropped it.
Like, you just didn't catch it.
Yeah.
Like,
I think that's a good point. I think one of the other things is that there's so much more like ego from a normal person when looking at like video games because like obviously football, like you see someone like DK Metcalf or Aaron Donald or something like that, like they're an athletic freak, they're a physical freak. Like no normal person reasonably should have the balls to say like, well, I could do that if I just put the time in.
That's true, actually.
But with video games, no matter how good it is, like you have like Simple, who's the best Counter-Strike player ever, or like even people like, you know, you have like Panda Cat or like anyone that plays professional Smite. Like you have people be like, well, they're just moving a mouse and clicking buttons on a keyboard. Yeah. Like if I put in as much time as they have, I could do it. And it's like, well, no, you can't. Like I'm level 50 or level 60 in Smite. I've played it a good amount. I fucking suck.
Yeah.
Like compared to like I'm like gold ranked in ranked, which is not that good. It's like average. And I've put in quite a bit of time. And I feel like once you actually play the games and everything, you get more of an understanding of like how much skill it takes.
Oh yeah.
But like I think esports is much more susceptible to normal people. Like, oh, well, I could do that if I just learned it and took the time. And it's like, well, actually, you couldn't.
Yeah. I think it'll like get more and more. People get more comfortable with it, but I don't think it'll ever get to the point where esports is like on the exact same level as traditional sports that are played physically.
I agree.
I think it'll slowly get more and more popular to the point that it's, generally accepted by everybody. Like, okay, yeah,
I think it's already at the point where esports is generally more popular than sporting events as far as like viewers. Like, because League of Legends has had, like, I think League of Legends, they had a they had a tournament that had more viewers than the Super Bowl.
Oh my god, that's crazy.
Yeah, so it's like it's already like to the point where like some games have that type of viewership. But I think there's two main things that will stop esports from, like you said, it'll get high, but it won't ever gain the respect of like being seen as equal among like normal sports. And I think there's two things. I think one of the things is there's not as much of a physical aspect, which I think, people value more.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing is we've had, how long had sports been around before esports came about?
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, it was around 100 years before the internet. Sports have been around for, I'm talking like baseball was invented in like the late 1800s, and that's one of the newer sports that was invented.
Yeah, like look at track, bro. Track and field, wrestling, like
it's been around
ancient
forever.
Greece.
Yeah. And so it had all that head start. I mean, the newest sport that's a major spectator sport, which I can think of which is baseball. That has 120-year head start.
Yeah.
On even just the internet.
Yeah. So it's still got so much history behind it.
Right.
It's kind of a prestige there.
I think it has the history. It has like you look at the other sports, it's centuries or even millennia before the internet or video games. So obviously it's going to have that advantage. But I think the main thing is just like people are like, oh, well, they're not doing physical stuff, so it doesn't matter. I'm like,
it will get to a point though where they will, man. Like,
VR?
realistically, it's going to get to a point where you go to like an esports lounge and you just walk into a room and it's like, okay, well, now you could be playing any sport at any location you want with people from all over the world, but you're all simulated in there, but you're doing the physical acts in the room. Like, it's going to get to that point.
And you actually see that now. There's actually I don't remember what exactly it's called, but it's on VR. They have this game that's a training simulation for baseball. So it has like pitchers programmed in there.
Yeah.
And you actually look at their pitches in VR. You can actually swing the bat and like it'll simulate what your swing is, how you hit it. It'll let you try to identify pitches and stuff. So you could literally face MLB level pitchers in VR.
Man.
And like actual professional baseball players are using it for training.
That's crazy.
So it's already like part of the way there.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely too like with sports like golf or baseball or things where like a large part of it you can be in one spot is going to be like so much easier to get that simulated. Like if you're doing like a tennis match where you're running back and forth, that's like you need some space for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely ones like that, archery, man, like you could easily program that stuff.
And you know what surprised me, especially with golf, how you're talking about it? It really surprised me that over COVID that, because they have the virtual golf where you hit it into the screen.
Oh, yeah.
And it does it. I'm really surprised we didn't see more use of that. Like, okay, we can't like actually be together in golf, but we can run tournaments where everyone's almost like an esports thing.
Yeah.
Where everyone's playing on the same course and they use the virtual screen and everything and do it that way. I'm surprised that wasn't used more, but I suspect what it is like that's not like complex. That's not as simple as just setting up VR.
Yeah.
Like that's a whole thing.
It's a whole room with a whole thing. I think
going into the future that might be more of a possibility.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh hey, like in the off season, like it's winter. We're still gonna have smaller golf tournaments, but they're gonna be like online people playing on these virtual screens.
Well, I mean, yeah, and like obviously during COVID it made it complicated because like people don't just have those in their living room, but like
And
if you set up like a lounge and you're like, okay, this room has golf, this room, or you could even set up the rooms to where a room is like can perform multiple different sports.
Well, yeah, because the same that same software can be used for tennis, soccer, baseball, like all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, you could have lounges where the people, like, okay, imagine if you had a sports bar. So the main area has the bar, and you're watching real sports with people playing, or maybe even watching the virtual ones. You can get some food, you can drink, do whatever, and then you go like a room over, and you can compete, and you can do this stuff virtually. And you can just do any sport you want because it's all simulated anyways.
Right.
So they can just simulate you into wherever you want to be. You can compete with other people in the bar or other people in the world.
And there's an argument to be made that it might actually be a more true test of your performance because, like, you look at golf or, like, track and field and everything. Like, let's just look at track and field because that's the sport I do as an example. If I'm throwing discus and I could have the exact same throw as someone else that would have gone the exact same distance, but they got a headwind, so they throw 2 meters further, but I got a crosswind, so I lose 3 meters.
Yeah, that's interesting, actually.
That's like a 7-meter swing from me losing 3 meters to them gaining 2 meters, or sorry, a 5-meter swing, because of the elements. Like, not that we should replace outdoor sports with, but
that's just an interesting point,
theoretically be argued that it's more of a true test because the elements are always the same in the virtual realm.
Yeah, definitely for certain sports, it'll make a huge difference.
Because they have software now for throwing where they have these cameras and they have these programs that they run it where they can see a throw and they don't have to measure where it landed, but they can see like the speed the implement was going, on the angle of release that you had and everything like that. So everything that affects the throw and the distance, they can basically use all those variables, plug it in. And obviously it's never going to be exact.
Yeah.
But based on those, like, you get a pretty good idea of how far it would have gone.
Yeah.
And when you use that same formula for everyone's throws, it's all on a level playing field. You don't have to worry about, like, it being affected by wind or heat or cold or rain. That is interesting. So, like, I would never want to replace, outdoor competition. Like actual competition, but it's just an interesting argument that theoretically could be made.
Yeah, like I don't think it should ever replace. Like I don't think it should ever be to the point where you go to the Olympics and everything's virtual.
Right.
But it would be interesting just if you're going out with your friends and you're like how we go to Top Golf. You go to a place, get some food, get some beers or whatever, and then you put the headsets on and there you go. You and your boys, like you're out in the Scottish Highlands and you're like doing whatever. I don't know, golf maybe you're doing something with track, whatever. But
it could almost be like kind of like how Top Golf is, or those bars where it's like, oh, this is a bar and you do axe throwing.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is a bar and we do like really in-depth virtual reality like gaming with virtual reality screens or virtual reality goggles. Like, that like I don't think that's like too far off. Like I think honestly, we should probably cut this out and be like, hey, that's our business.
Well, here's what we do. Because
that's actually a pretty good business idea.
Here's what we do. We get this going, right? And then we take advantage. See, I've been hearing a lot of people talking about taking advantage of, the simp part of the marketplace, right?
Right.
I think simps are a demographic that hasn't been thoroughly exploited enough. And I've been hearing people, much smarter than me talking about this, and I think they're right. So here's what we do. We lure them in. We make them think like, we make them feel like hot shots. We bring them in, give them some beers, get them eating, get them playing some sports. They're feeling good, right? Behind the place, it's like a whole club. It's a whole club. So they come in for that. In the back room, that's where the brothel is. And so now we got a virtual brothel. You slide that headset on, boom. Dude, you're in Paris. You got what do they call them? I forget them, never mind. But anyways, you slide the headset on, dude, and you're like, maybe you're like, I'm feeling like the classy vibe. So you're in like a real classy like brothel in Paris. Still a brothel, but
in Paris.
But in Paris, yeah, so pretty cool. Or you know what? Maybe you're feeling grimy. You slide that headset on, you're on 9th Street.
That's a very Modesto reference.
Yeah.
We have people that watch in like Germany and shit. They're not going to get that. Or that listen in Germany. They're not going to get that.
All right, guys. So I'm assuming a lot of people in the audience have watched like that Netflix doc about that girl who went to the hotel on Skid Row and just like wound up dead and nobody knew how. Think of like 9th Street is kind of like Skid Row.
Yeah.
Like
honestly, yeah. Not bad.
It's the Central Valley. It's the Skid Row of the Central Valley.
Yeah. It's like Skid Row if you mixed it with like meth and hillbillies.
Yeah, it's definitely like a more, red-blooded. It's like a more red-blooded Skid Row.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely what it is. But yeah, you could put the headset on, you do that, and then there you go, man. And then you just get a room to yourself.
And
the sex bots.
You can get them warmed up for it. Like you pull like a Tyler Durden from Fight Club, like as they're like, they're golfing, virtual golfing, whatever, and then like you just like flash for one frame on the screen, like some French whore with their titties out in the brothel, and you're like, what was that?
Wait.
And then slowly it gets more, and then it's like more and more, and then all of a sudden you're like, okay, next hole. Oh, and there's a French girl giving you a lap dance. Like it just eases you into it.
Hella dudes just like playing baseball, just having a good time with the boys, and then one guy like, guys, did you see that? Did anybody? What are you talking about, Dave?
Straight up Fight Club style, and then the girl starts giving you a lap dance. She whispers, she's like, his name is Robert Paulson.
Guys, is anybody else seeing that? Dude, take your fucking pitch, Dave. Dude, no one. They're titties, brother. What? Whose titties are you talking about?
What titties? What are you talking about?
Why are you chubbing, Dave? This is not chill, dude.
We're supposed to be playing golf with the boys.
We're playing golf, dude, and you're chubbing right now. You're supposed to be pitching right now, and you got your fucking schlong. Like, what's going on here, Dave?
Bro, I can see we go to the virtual reality thing and we play golf, and you just fucking pull out of your back pocket. You got your fucking best short game medal. Yeah, here we go.
I'm gonna get that tattooed on my arm, dude.
Best
like
short
a
game.
Sailor tattoo with like crossed golf clubs and like real cool writing. Yeah, best short game. 2019. Yeah, best short game. 2019 to 2020. Actually, the best short game ever. Not just in Waterford Golf, just in general.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Phil Mickelson, go fuck yourself. It's Dale Stafford,
yeah, it's
baby.
me, bitch. If you want to debate this, guess what? Hop on the podcast.
Hop on the podcast. Hey, we got Phil Mickelson on the podcast, though. Shit,
son. Oh, dude, what was I gonna bring up? Oh my god. Okay, so I don't know if you had anything more about all that. But this is a little bit of a.
I'm good on it.
I'm gonna shift gears here. Then, did you hear about this shit with Fetty Wap?
No, I haven't heard anything.
Okay, so
I've been working and not looking at the news at all.
I have not been doing either one of those things. So yeah, Fetty Wap apparently he was at Rolling Loud and he got taken off the stage and this and that. They like got arrested. It happens, it's happened before. So a lot of people were speculating. The charges that came out was apparently he's part of a RICO case. And
what? Wait, what?
Fetty Wap's he's on like a RICO investigation now, and the charges are him being involved in trafficking 100 kilos of coke. Yeah, dude.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, what gang was it associated? I assume it was associated with a gang.
I haven't heard a name yet, so I don't know if...
Or is he... Bro, imagine he's wrapped up with the cartel.
Oh, my God.
Holy shit.
He really did have a trap queen.
Yeah, for real. Bro, RICO cases they're not fucking around with RICO cases, though.
Nah. I haven't heard a name, so I don't know if it's like in... like part of a group that we would know, or if it's just him and his boys and they're like accusing them
it's
of
gotta
being...
be a big ass group if they're transporting 100 kilos of coke.
Well, dude,
you don't just get you and your boys and fucking mule 100 kilos of coke. Like,
we don't just meet up for the pod like, hey, have you guys ever thought about trafficking 100 kilos of coke one of these days?
Unless you're friends with Thad.
Yeah, that's true actually. Let me break down the numbers. So, okay. 100 kilos, so that's 100 times 2.2, so 220 pounds. Let's say, okay, so 16 ounces in a pound times 220, that's 3,520 ounces. Let's say, okay, so remember 3,520 ounces.
3,520.
Okay, let's say 80. Okay, so there's 28 grams in an ounce. Let's say regular like $80 to $100 a gram. So let's say $22.40 per ounce. So $22.40 times, what did I tell you, $35.20?
Yeah.
Okay, so theoretically, if you multiplied that $22.40 per ounce of coke, which realistically,
you thought $22.40 is grams.
Oh, well,
$22.40 is
because I multiplied 28 grams by $80.
Oh, by the price.
And then multiplied 80 by 16.
So that's the price per ounce.
Yeah.
is what you have times how many ounces it was. Oh, so this is going to be how much money the Coke was worth.
Yeah, because this would be 35.20
ounces times the price per ounce.
Yeah. So obviously, if you're selling in bulk, you're going to mark the price down. You're not going to sell it for 80 to 100
but
a gram.
This is if they're doing like the police measurement of how much they got, this is what they're going to do.
Theoretically. So if you measure that, and I don't want any fucking mathematicians checking my math here. It's probably off, but yeah,
close enough.
Let's say 35.20 ounces multiplied by 22.40 per ounce.
The suspense is killing me. Just do it.
$7.8 million
God!
Is the number I came up with.
Damn.
So like
7.8 mil.
And, like, obviously, if you're running that kind of operation, it's not like you're pocketing all that money. But that's a crazy amount of money to even think about him being, like, associated with generating.
Bro, I'm investing for 50 or 60 years just to make 1 mil.
Yeah, you should be in the dope game.
And he's just got 7 mil in Coke.
You should be
I should be slanging dope.
We should start slinging, man.
We should start slanging dope.
Oh, dude, that could be the next...
We'll get in touch with NBA Youngboy. And...
yeah, CCP does. Trapping in Modesto. Oh man.
I actually have been offered to deal drugs before.
Oh, okay. I thought you were about to be like, I've actually sold Coke before. Crazy we talk about it.
No, I definitely said no.
Yeah.
I mean, it was weed, but technically, I mean, this was in high school, so it was before weed was legal.
Oh, interesting.
So I was ooh. But I got asked. I think it was just because like I'm a white kid.
Right.
So like everyone's like, no one expects the white kid.
Yeah,
I always said no because I was like, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to do that. It was like from people I knew and was like friends with. I'm like, wait, you? What?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna name names, obviously, but I was like,
you're asking me if I want to sell weed wearing a sweater vest? What?
I was like, I'm a little Christian boy, man. Like, I can't be doing that.
Hey,
like,
man.
I don't even want to know that you do that. Just don't talk to me about it ever again.
You want me to push the ganja? The devil's lettuce?
The electric lettuce?
You want me to sell the fucking Lucifer's cabbage in Waterford?
I was like, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, that's funny.
But now seeing that, damn, maybe I should have said yes.
Yeah.
Morals and spiritual beliefs be damned. I'm making 7 mil.
Yeah, I mean, Coke's definitely, a little bit more sketchy just because it gets cut with stuff. But
yeah,
it's just weird to think of Fetty Wap being associated with that. If it was like somebody who was a friend of Fetty Wap who nobody actually knew that was just a street dude, I'd be like, yeah, okay. But it's him. He's had like 2, 3, or 4. He's had like 4 like hit fucking songs.
Yeah.
Granted, yeah, it was like a few years ago, but still, it's like, dude, he has had some hits. So to think of him like going in the studio and making 6, 7, 9, and then leaving, and then going and selling a kilo of blow is like, damn, that's crazy.
I mean, there's so many other names that I would expect before that.
Yeah,
like,
I know, right?
Anyone in the Brooklyn scene.
Because he's not like also a hard, like real, like rough guy. I mean, yeah, like at least his musical style.
Right.
He made like party anthems,
Right. And if you tell me like Fulio or like Coach to Ghost.
Oh, I'd be like, okay.
Okay, that makes sense. You tell me like, oh, Kodak Black got caught with a bunch of coke. I'm like, fucking okay. And that surprises me how. Like,
yeah.
Makes sense. But like Fetty Wap though?
Yeah, dude. Let me look this up real quick to make sure there's no interesting details I'm leaving out. Apparently he was released on bond.
He only had $500,000 bond.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
Really?
I think maybe because he didn't have a previous criminal. That's the other interesting thing. So
he didn't have any other criminal charge besides that?
Not that I could find. So if he did, it may be some misdemeanors, but like I wasn't seeing felonies.
Maybe that's why it was so low then.
Yeah, because usually these guys have.
I wonder if he was like the main player, if he just like got caught up in it though.
I don't know. I feel like maybe it was just like he kind of like started to dabble in it, and then it just like went deeper and deeper, and he was like, well, yeah, I guess now this is what I do. So, because I don't think most people like start off like zero, like, oh yeah, I'm just a regular guy, to like, okay, now I'm selling pounds of coke. It's like
that's what you make a movie out of.
Yeah,
it's like, well, I just run a food truck. I sell burritos, and then some guy came up to me and said, "You're gonna fucking mule this coke across the border, and it's worth $7 million."
Yeah,
it's like, what? Like, I just make burritos, man.
Dude, I just fucking roll up tortillas, man. What are you talking
like, imagine
about?
if like the taco truck in Hickman, like you just hear a story like, oh yeah, they were just muling like fentanyl.
That'd be
for
awesome.
the cartel.
Honestly, I'd be like, that's why that place was so legit. Those tacos were fucking good, man.
Yeah.
I'd be like,
well, you'd be like, oh, like I'd go to eat there. Someone's like, bro, they were working with the cartel. I'm like, yeah, but the burritos are fucking good,
but
dog.
dude, the asada, man.
Nah, dude, the lengua. The lengua.
Oh, yeah, dude.
So good.
Okay, guys, so they were working for the cartel, but have you tried these burritos?
Yeah, they were in cahoots with MS-13, but the fucking salsa is legit, my guy.
Dude, in the middle of rolling up a taco and some guy's just getting beheaded in the back.
Yeah.
You're
just like, what's going on there? He's like,
don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. I'm just going to take my tacos and go.
How's the taco taste? How's the meat taste?
You're like, wait, did that... It's not cow tongue, brother. I'm like,
brother.
Oh, no.
Brother.
Still good though. So.
Okay, allowed to post bail.
Wasn't there a guy? I'm now thinking because we made the the little cannibal joke. Wasn't there a guy like on CNN that? Oh, there's a message on the camera.
Oh, it just went off. Hold up.
Oh, okay. Wasn't there a guy on CNN that like he didn't do it on camera, but like he was like a cannibal? Like at one point he like ate human brain or something?
Apparently it wasn't. I heard coke. Apparently it was more than just coke. It says 100 kilograms of narcotics, including heroin, fentanyl, coke, and crack.
Oh, so it's probably more than 7 mil then.
Well, I don't know.
Well, I guess it depends on how much.
Yeah, because coke's the most expensive thing in there.
Oh,
heroin's, not terribly expensive, but also not cheap.
That's the nice part about heroin is it is cheap.
Yeah, crack is
not for me.
Dirt
for
cheap.
People who do it.
Yeah, crack is dirt cheap, but you also have to sell more of it, so it's more like, it's whatever. Fentanyl. I don't know what fentanyl. I don't even know. I've never heard of anybody specifically looking for fentanyl,
right,
so
that's
I don't
the thing.
really.
Like, I have no idea what the market for that is.
No, I have no clue because I've never heard of somebody It's always like you hear people getting fentanyl by accident. I've never heard of somebody being like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go pick up
it's always
an 8-ball
like
fentanyl."
It's like, I was taking some drugs or something, and it was laced with fentanyl. And I died.
Yeah,
that's what happens. I'm like, who the fuck? Like, I don't know.
Crazy. The group then allegedly used.
Oh wait, shit! They also found 1.5 mil in cash.
Sick.
God damn! What? 2 9mm handguns, a rifle, 45 caliber pistol, 40 caliber pistol, ammo. Except the rapper were charged with using firearms in connection with drug trafficking. At least he was smart enough not to have a gun.
Maybe they just couldn't find his fingerprints on him.
Well, that's probably smart.
Yeah.
Let all the shooters do it,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, dude.
God damn, that's a lot of fucking cash. Oh my god.
Sick.
See, these are the times when I'm like, why the fuck do we pay so much taxes? They just seized 1.5 million, and you're taking 7% out of my check.
Yeah,
I make like $500, man.
Well, dude, half the cops that get this, obviously this is high profile, so this stuff's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
But if you're some small town cop and you
seize 1.5 mil, you're like, oh, it was actually 1.7, but skirt.
Dude, I was just gonna say like this is high profile, but if you're just some small town cop and you seize an 8-ball of coke, they just do it or they sell it. Like. It doesn't go into the vault forever and justice isn't upheld. Like, no, dude. It fucking... then they have a monopoly on the shit.
On the coke game.
Yeah. Okay,
narcotics officers don't actually care about cleaning up the streets from drugs. They just want to sell it themselves.
Oh, dude, so many. I've heard of so many cops. I'm not going to say...
I'm not
all
gonna, cops.
No. I'm just going
to be clear so we don't
saying,
get come after by the mob.
No, I'm just saying, like, I'm not going to get into it, obviously, but there's nobody, when a cop takes, a few grams of coke off someone or they seize some pills, nobody checks to make sure they went in the vault.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean?
They just assume.
Yeah, there's no record of that.
Yeah. You want to go turn the camera back on now?
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Fuck. I guess now we're like half an hour in. Probably would have been good to mention this at the beginning, but next episode, guys, we're gonna have a guest on who.
Oh yeah, I'm excited about this.
Yeah, people can probably figure it out. People know who he is, but we're gonna have a guest who's a fighter. So if anybody doesn't know who that is, cool. It'll be a surprise. So yeah, if anybody curious about fighting, interested in it, you follow UFC, definitely watch next episode. We're not having a UFC fighter. Maybe someday, but yeah,
that would be dope. But this is also just as dope.
This is gonna be a fun one for sure.
I'm gonna let him choke me.
Yeah?
I'm gonna let him choke me on camera, sure.
You're gonna do like the Alex Jones, like,
come on, do it. Come on, do it.
Come on, choke me.
Do it, Joe. Do it.
Do it, Joe.
I don't know. I'm either gonna let him choke me or I'm gonna let him do a leg kick on me. One of the two. Probably choke me because I actually kind of need my legs for practice. But one of the two.
What is it like till knockout?
I don't know about that.
Oh yeah, because that'd be intense.
I'll try to. I'm not gonna tap immediately though. I'm not gonna be a bitch.
So is it gonna be like a time? Like, are we gonna time it?
well, just as long as I can take it, which probably won't be that long.
Oh yeah.
But
okay.
Should I set a time that I think I could take it right now? Because here's the thing. It's not. You can't take it that long because, like, realistically, if it gets set in really well,
I was gonna
you got 3 seconds till you're out.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is he setting it in? Then you're just trying not to pass out, or is it like or is he just gonna put his arm there and you have to fight it and try not to let him get the rear naked?
No, I'm gonna let him get it. Like, I'm going like this, and he's gonna get it in.
Oh, so
if he's down,
it can't be more than 3 seconds then.
That's what I'm saying.
3 or 4, like 3 or 4.
I don't really want to set a time because if I say like 5 seconds, if I actually wait the 5 seconds, I'm gonna be fucking out.
Yeah, and it'd have to be such a specific time. It'd be like, oh, I think you're gonna last 2.3 seconds.
Yeah,
like, you know what
I
mean?
think I'm just gonna be like, hey, I'm gonna last as long as I can.
Interesting.
If I pass out, good views.
Interesting. Be a good bit.
I'm actually, but I'm just also excited to pick his brain because, like, obviously, like, I'm a fan. You're a fan. Cameron's a fan.
Oh yeah.
And like, we've all done it. Like, we've done jujitsu. We've done like boxing to a certain extent. But that's like, there's so much, like, miles and miles and miles of difference between like, oh, we've like recreationally done jujitsu or boxing, and motherfucker, I fought someone in a ring in a cage that was trying to hurt me. I'm like, those are 2 very different experiences.
I am hyped, man.
I'm very excited. This is probably the most. No offense to Augie or any of our other guests.
Oh yeah.
This is the most excited I've been for an episode.
No, it's gonna be a fun one.
Well, also, I'm also gonna be excited for the guests we have after that.
Yeah. Well,
mostly because of my condition.
Right. We'll tell you guys next week, but yeah, we're gonna have a couple fun episodes lined up after this.
Yeah.
I feel like this one actually so far has been a really fun one, but but yeah, so no, that'll be good.
People.
I feel like we had a lot to talk about, and I feel like in the beginning there was, anyway, it doesn't matter. Facebook to Meta, bro.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna lie, I've heard about this, but I don't know what it all entails.
So apparently, supposedly, they're like rebranding to Meta, but also like a lot of people have said it could just be like the Google move, where like there's Google, then there's Alphabet, and they're like 2 different companies, and so they can like divide the earnings differently. And
that's why I didn't, because I know, like, okay, they're rebranding, but like that's the same question. Like is it just, because if it's just the Google thing, it's like, oh, we just have basically a new company under us.
See, at first, I thought it was like that, and I think it could also still be that. But then also now I'm getting advertisements like on YouTube that are like the metaverse. And I was like, oh, so they're really going in on this,
right?
This whole metaverse thing.
Do you think it also might be an attempt to, like, because obviously they've been in hot water with, like, are they a publisher or are they like just a social media platform?
Right.
If they're a publisher, obviously they can't like be censoring people how they have been.
Oh, right.
Do you think this is in some, like, maybe in some way an attempt to like get a space where they can avoid all that? Like, I don't know.
I don't really understand the point of it, honestly, because like it's still like the fact that they still have like, you know, the Zucks like as the face of it is like, it still feels like, you know, he's still like a lizard person. So it's like, it doesn't really matter what the name of the company is. Oh, also, dude, everybody said this isn't original, but like, how ironic is it that the company that like got super, super rich selling people's metadata changes their name to Meta?
It's like
it's like the biggest slap in the face. But
it's just a big F you to the consumer.
Oh yeah, big old fuck you. I just don't. Yeah, I don't get the point of it. Like, cause on, you know, the commercials and stuff, Mark is like, oh, the metaverse, and like this and that, and it's sounds like it's supposed to be. The way they talk about it is like what I imagined Facebook as in like 2008. Like, oh, this is so cool. You can go in and, you know, do these fun things with your friends and make these groups and have this like online identity. And,
I still just don't.
But then in reality, it's like, you know, you go on Facebook and it was just like ISIS beheadings and like spam.
Right.
And just like propaganda and
shit.
To
be fair, that was because 4chan pretty much took it over immediately.
Oh my God, dude. That was a weird era. Yeah. But no, it's like, you know,
I just can't picture in my head when it's going to be. Because I've also thought that, like, is it just going to be like Facebook again? Like, also, is it going to be something completely, like, that's why I can't really form an opinion on it. Because I have no idea what it's going to be.
I mean, I think it's going to be horrible, whatever it is.
Oh,
like,
of course. I mean, if the Zucks is behind it, it's going to be horrible.
Because it's like, no matter how you think of it, any variation of it being anything like Facebook is automatically like, nobody wants that.
Right.
He's like describing it and it's like, okay, so it's like Facebook, but like brought up to speed. And like it's like a virtual world. It's like
they can get even more of your personal information and sell it to even more people.
Yeah.
And now they're gonna give it to China too.
Yeah. It's like virtual Facebook. Nobody wants that.
No, absolutely no one. Like it's almost like it feels like this should be like Meta should be something that is like Facebook but in Sims.
Yeah.
Almost like that's like the Facebook you have for your Sims character, but it's for real life. And it's like, what?
I think this is honestly the best comparison I can make is, have you seen the Futurama episode where they go on the internet?
Yeah.
Okay, so Fry enters it, and he's expecting it to just be, like, fun, and he goes in, and, like, there's ads that are, like, attacking him, and there's, like, people that are all these, like, extremist people, and everybody's, like, crazy and angry about things, and he, like, can't do anything he actually wants to do. That's how I imagine, like, the metaverse.
Yeah, it's like the Simpsons episode where they do the Christmas episode in the future.
Yeah.
And, like, whenever they have like they go onto their computers instead of like actually typing on it, they take a little wire and plug in. It's just like and now you're in the internet.
Yeah.
Imagine it's gonna be like that, but it's just gonna be like, you know how like people that like get drugged and they wake up in a bathtub full of ice and their liver's gone. That's gonna happen to you, but it's gonna be the metaverse. And every time an organ's gone, it's just like, oh, there goes another digit of your social security number.
You're gonna think you're gonna be like, wow, this is gonna be so cool. There's this like online world, and then you're gonna go in, and it's just gonna be like a VR chat room with like way more ads and just full of like crazy like right wing propaganda and just like QAnon people, and, like angry Facebook moms and just like shit like that. It's gonna be so awful, man. Whatever it is.
Bernie Sanders just pops up.
Jeez. That'd be weird. That'd be interesting.
Bro, honestly, Bernie actually pops up a lot. Not like himself.
Oh, yeah.
But like memes of him and stuff pop up a lot in like 4chan, dark web and shit.
Really?
Yeah, you haven't seen that? Like,
I mean,
it's not like not really his ideas, but more like people just because you know how he's like, you know, political face of teenagers and whatever.
Right.
So people take that and it's like, you haven't seen the memes and stuff?
I don't spend. Okay, how do I say this? I've been on 4chan watching somebody else use it, but I don't like actually just go on it. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't go on it either, but I'm saying like,
I mean, yeah,
it's out there.
I've never looked at 4chan. Never looked at. I've never been
Live leaks. What's that?
I've never been in a chat room with other people just looking at 4chan. But yeah, anyways, no. So I don't really understand. I mean, most people, most people don't like what the whole move is with Meta, but it's weird. I mean, I realized it was legit when I opened up Instagram, and you know how it has like the white screen that flashes before it loads, and it says powered by Metaverse now on the bottom. Or sorry, powered by Meta, not Metaverse.
Oh, that's fucking.
So I was like, oh, they're really going in on this.
I'm just gonna have to delete all my social media that Zucks is in contact with. Like,
it's just unfortunate because it's like it's so many things.
Yeah, why does the lizard person have to be in charge of it?
Yeah.
Imagine if he would have got Snapchat, though. That would have fucking sucked.
Oh, yeah, it'd be awful.
I mean, he's just turning Instagram into Snapchat now, though.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I could kind of see him owning Snapchat, though. Because remember how Facebook started off as like a hot or not type of thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's basically like you could easily get Snapchat to follow that company vision.
Yeah.
That's a funny action now that I think of it. You know how you see all these like generic like corporate like missions, like it is our goal to, I don't know, revolutionize food delivery and make sure that people all across the country can, you know, whatever. You know what I mean? Like their marketing.
Like it sounds profound, but means nothing.
Yeah, and they like say like all of our decisions follow this one principle and this one design philosophy, and you're like, no, they don't.
You're like, what about when you sold our information to China?
Yeah,
what about that?
I'm just imagining fucking Zucks, dude. What was that like in the beginning? Was he like, I want to create a platform where you can decide who is hot and who is not?
Like a scumbag.
I want to democratize misogyny for the masses.
I want to screw my business partner and best friend out of millions of dollars.
Yeah. I just want to democratize the decision of who is hot and who is not. But I'm the only one who votes.
I want to influence major political decisions for fun.
I want to topple third world countries across the world with political propaganda. I want to help coups in third world countries so we can secure the petrodollar.
I want to be best friends with Vladimir Putin.
Yeah. I want to overthrow developing economies in South America.
Bro, fucking him, Jeff Bezos, and Bill Gates are all just like,
that's the fucking.
I want to fucking rule the world.
Yeah, dude, they're like the comic book supervillains of like this era.
They're all Lex Luthor.
Yeah,
like,
oh yeah,
straight up.
You could totally imagine those guys in like a lair.
Well, like it's funny because like you have like, you know, like a lot of people politically commit about like, oh, the rich people that don't pay their fair trade. Like that's legitimately Jeff Bezos.
Oh yeah,
like
completely.
oh, I take advantage of every tax exploitation and all that.
Oh
like,
yeah, oh yeah.
Like
he's just so weird too, because like I feel like a lot of these guys have like a public presence that people have an idea about them, whether it's actually really true to their personality or not. Like everybody, like if you mention Elon, like people kind of have an idea of like his personality because he's like really public. And Mark, people know Mark as like weird, you know, like
Lizard.
Unhuman, yeah. But like Jeff Bezos just isn't like a very public person. I feel like.
You just don't know anything about him.
Yeah,
and it's hard because it's like he's only on one hand he's like massive scumbag who is like everything political people say they hate about the 1% is Jeff Bezos.
Yeah,
but also it's like he has done a lot of residual good to the world just by creating Amazon and having like just created so many jobs.
Yeah,
so
but
it's like I'm torn because it's like on one hand scumbag like doesn't pay his taxes, that type of thing.
Yeah.
On the other hand, has created millions and millions, possibly billions of jobs.
I mean, he created jobs, but he also created them by like bankrupting smaller businesses. It's like I don't know that he necessarily created jobs in the way that we say like
true.
Oh, if I like okay, like if the US government's like, "Oh, we're going to buy like all these cars for I don't know, fucking whatever, some government agency." They're not like, "Oh, if I order all these cars, you're like creating job growth directly by buying products." It's more like
But also the thing is you can't say he necessarily monopolized an industry because he kind of created his own industry to a certain point. Because like there's online shopping and online delivery and stuff like that, but he kind of consolidated it into like before it was just like at the most you get a catalog that's like, oh, this is a sports catalog that sells sports equipment and all that. But he consolidated like we sell everything and we deliver it and all that.
Yeah,
like,
but I think the thing is like instead of I don't think he like stole jobs from like online marketers, right? I think like jobs that previously people or like businesses that people previously went to like in person to feed their local economy were just bankrupted and like transferred online, right?
Right.
So it's like instead of feeding like local grocers or local farmers and stuff like that, or local like grocery stores,
right? Because especially now they have Amazon Fresh.
Oh yeah, it's like, and then there's all the like other stuff. Like some of it is just drop shipping, so it's like I don't feel bad about drop shipping moving from one platform to another, but like the other stuff, yeah, the more.
Well, and you look at Toys R Us too, like the thing with
yeah.
Toys, when they went out of business, like they literally went out of business because their website could not match Amazon.
Yeah, yeah.
That's why they went out of business.
Yeah.
Because you can get the same toys from Toys R Us and Amazon. They would cost about the same. Maybe even like some would cost more, some would cost less, depending on where you got it.
Yeah.
But Amazon is 10 times easier to use.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Than Toys R Us, and that like because they couldn't make the jump to online, like they just got put out of business.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
it wasn't just that. Like they also like the people spending the money in Toys R Us were like not very good at it. They didn't manage it very well.
Yeah.
But you can't deny that a huge part of it was Amazon just being like, yeah, we're kind of better, so you're fine.
Oh yeah. I don't think it's crazy that it happened, but it's crazy how quickly it happened.
Right.
Because obviously, like, you just change
think
happens.
If it happened at Toys R Us, which is like a huge corporation, like imagine how many times that happened to smaller businesses.
Oh yeah, yeah. And like especially too, I mean, yeah, just how fast it happened. And it's also like once they got to a certain point, they were just making so much money and making so many sales that like no matter how big your business is, you just can't compete with the prices that they can negotiate with like shipping and with the prices with the wholesalers and stuff. Like they're moving so much product, they can pretty much like dictate the price, and you can't get it cheaper than them.
That's why you can pay for Amazon Prime for like fucking less than $10 a month.
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy. It really is crazy.
Free shipping.
Yeah, it's insane how efficient it is. Like for such a massive company, you know?
Yeah.
It's weird. It's so crazy that it's stayed this big and it's still like it hasn't gotten mismanaged and like disorganized. Like,
and the fact that the customer service has been able to keep up is even more impressive.
Yeah, it's insane.
I mean, that's what I'm just looking at the residual fields. You know how many people have gotten jobs, like customer service jobs, with like millions.
Yeah.
Because it's not just with Amazon. Because you have all the Amazon customer service people. Then you have all the people that had to, like, all the companies that had to get extra customer service because of the influx of orders and shipments that they got because of Amazon.
Yeah, but how many of these companies were like people that were creating a good product and like supplying American workers? Like, how many of it was more just like Chinese factory owners that were paying people like 50 cents an hour to just mass produce garbage, you know?
Yeah, it's weird. And it could definitely, like, I think overall just like it's really easy to fall back to, I just don't like Jeff Bezos. Like, he seems like kind of a freaking fuck, you know?
Yeah.
As Peyton would say, he's just a fucking fuck.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it sucks too, because if you think of like a lot of the businesses that they like kind of deposed, it's like, if you think of a local business, or even just not even a local business, maybe just a business that isn't Amazon. Usually it's like there's a way to get in on the ground floor and like move up. Maybe not to the point of being a CEO, but like move up in the company, right? Whereas like Amazon, like you either start as like a warehouse worker or a driver or somebody who's in doing that stuff, or you're in like management. And there's no real way to jump from there to learn the business and go to management, because it's like, if you're a warehouse worker, they just try to fire you before they have to pay benefits. So they're kind of just cycling through like cheap labor.
The thing is, it's not the traditional corporate setting.
No, it's not at all.
Which I think has made it. That's why you have a lot of the people that are saying like that Amazon warehouse work is like very similar to like the 1920s, where you had like people working for nothing and shit like that. And it's not for nothing. Amazon has great pay. Like, you get a signing bonus, like good benefits if you can get to that point.
Yeah.
So you get paid well, but it's like, I still can't help but feel like it has that type of thing where it's almost like I've never been offered to work at a place so much other than Amazon.
Yeah.
Like, it seems like everyone's like, oh, gotta work at Amazon. It feels like the factory, like you have to work there.
I know, yeah, it's weird, huh?
And it's weird, and there's nothing inherently bad about it.
Yeah.
But it just feels slimy. And I can't really put my finger on it.
Well, I think also, like, it seems like, okay, for a part-time job, it seems like it'd be great part-time. But yeah, it's like full-time. It's like they want to just fire you before they have to give you any benefits, and then they don't want to give you any like opportunities to advance. And then also they like don't let people unionize, so it's like you already have like no say in the company or no say in what happens, and then it's like you can't even unionize, so you have like even less say. And
the shitty part is like you can't. Like they said, the reason they're able to not let you unionize, the reason they're able to fire you before they have to give you benefits, is because there are so many people that are willing to take your spot.
Yeah. And
they can fill your spot so easily.
Yeah.
And I think that's the part that I might maybe feel like it's like those old-timey factories now. Because that was the thing. It's like, well, you're getting paid shit wages and you want to argue for more, but you know, as soon as you say something, it's like, okay, you're fired. We're going to get this other person to work for 15 cents a day.
Yeah.
And they're going to want it.
Yeah.
So it's like, it almost feels like that same thing where it's like, you don't argue. You don't try to be like, hey, you fired me just so you didn't have to pay me this. Because then it's like someone else is just going to take the job.
Yeah. I feel like it's less of a problem here too, because we just have more going on.
Right.
But if you just live in like some small town in like, the Appalachians, right, or Appalachian Mountains, like
I think that's where it could really be taken advantage of.
If it's like literally the only like big business within 100 miles, and it's kind of like if you don't work there, you just like aren't employed. Then it's like, you just have to settle for whatever.
Yeah.
And if it's like, if they've already driven out all the other small businesses and small people that could have competed, it's like, it's just over. Yeah.
So, but like you said, here it's like, because we're in like a more populated place, like there's so many, especially now. I think now it has the least amount of effect, because there's
now it's a good time.
If you don't have a job and you're looking for a job, you're just fucking bad at looking.
Yeah.
There's literally never been an easier time to get a job than right now.
Well, it's crazy because now it's like, my car's running and I'm like looking and stuff, and it's like, before, if I would have found like one of these jobs, I would just instantly apply and be like, I don't care, it's fine. Now I'm like, oh, cool, I can actually look around and see what is paying the best and what gives the best benefits.
Where I actually want to go.
I can actually make a decision, whereas before it was like, well, I just have to take whatever's hiring because I don't have like experience and a college degree, you know?
And I think that's the thing. I think we're about to go into like one of the most competitive job markets that has ever existed. Like once people stop staying home, people stop getting paid to stay home, you know? Once that ends, there's going to be a lot of people. Like, to be fair, there are a lot of jobs, but there's going to be a lot of people looking for a lot of jobs. And the thing is, when you don't just put your resume out or apply for one job at a time.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, you apply for 4, 5, 6 jobs. So imagine, say there's, like, this isn't the actual number, but say there's 5 million jobs and there's 3 million people that need jobs. Okay, you're thinking, well, no way all of them get applications.
Yeah.
But then each of those 3 million put in 4 applications at 4 different jobs. Then you have 5 million jobs, and you're looking at, what, 3 million times 4, that's 12 million applications to filter through. So you're going from, oh, there's tons of jobs, I don't need it, to, oh, well, now I'm one of 12 million applications, or 4 of 12 million applications.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, it's going to be competitive. Everyone would be able to find a job, but it's going to get real competitive real quick. Yeah. And then that's when the employers are going to be like, oh, I don't have to just take whoever I get. Like, I'm going to filter out the shitbirds, and I'm going to get the good employees.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, man.
So it's going to get real interesting real quick.
Well, especially, too, like, things are getting automated more and more, like, literally every year. So it's like, right now, they're in a labor shortage only because they haven't been able to automate a lot of the jobs that they can't find workers for.
Right.
But in 20 years, like, those jobs are just going to be done by robots. And then it's like, okay, well, now what? Like,
yeah, like, we're not that far away. Like, I could see possibly in the next 20 years, like, 80% of customer service and customer experience jobs being, like, technology. Like, not a person.
It's possible, yeah.
Like, there's always going to need to be, like, the human element. Like, okay, I just need to talk to someone because I don't really know what the problem is. I just know I have the problem. Blah, blah, blah. But, like, you'd already see it now. Like, a lot of customer service has been, like, most of the time when you do customer service now, you're not talking to a human immediately. Yeah, yeah. It's, like, one of the little bubbles in the corner on a website that's like, what can I help you with? Yeah. And then if it's something that they can't do, then okay, now I'll give you to a human. Yeah. But, like, I feel like that's just going to get more and more. But the one thing that makes me think that might not happen is because customer service and customer experience is one of those jobs you can do from home. Yeah. I almost think too, I think it might be more of that movement where it goes even more work from home. Yeah. I almost think too, with like the customer service specifically, like it can be automated super easy, but people fucking hate when it is. True. So I almost think they might leave some of those jobs just so people aren't just constantly angry every time. Yeah, I would agree with that. Whereas like, but if it's like a warehouse worker at Amazon, there is no reason they wouldn't automate that. 100%. Like it literally, like nobody is going to buy something from Amazon and be like, oh, I'm upset that this wasn't filled by an in-person human warehouse worker. Well, you know what I mean? Yeah, and all I'm saying is, you take the same technology that makes Tesla able to drive on the road, Tesla cars able to drive on the road without a driver. Oh, yeah. Put that on a forklift and use it in a factory. Yeah. You don't need a forklift driver. Exactly. So it's like all that's going to be gone. And then, yeah, obviously the simple stuff like driving or like trucking. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, the Tesla trucks and all that. Yeah. So it's like that stuff's obviously like coming. That's not even a question. And the thing is, people say like, oh, well, that means people get jobs working on those machines. You think a truck driver is going to now somehow become like, oh, now I can work on these fucking electric, automatically driven trucks. Yeah. Like, well, dude, those jobs are not going to be for those people. Yeah. I remember like a year ago, that was the thing everybody was talking about. And like the whole learn to code thing was going around on Twitter. And it was like this whole controversy because it was like legitimate. Tell the people working in coal mines in Appalachia. Yeah, just learn to code. Exactly. Like, fuck you. And that is a legitimate problem. Is like, okay, once all these jobs are just automated away over the course of like one generation, like, what do you do with all these unemployed people? Right. And it feels like it almost feels like it's almost like an attack on the blue collar worker, like on blue collar families. I think it feels like that because when they automate the jobs, none of the profits that are usually gained by automating the jobs are used to get the people that are unemployed into other lines of work. Right. That money usually just goes to the top. So then it's like, okay, you just make more money if you're the CEO. But none of that money goes towards like re-employing the people that were displaced. Right. You know? And I don't. And I think that doesn't necessarily need to be the case that money should go to it, because it is at the discretion of the owner of the company, the person making the money. I think really that automation can be done, and we still can make more jobs. But the thing is, you have to incentivize like entrepreneurship, like people starting their own business and small businesses. But I mean, you look at what's happening now. It's like, oh, small business owners are about to receive like the biggest tax hike in like decades.
Right.
And it's like, oh, like you're paying more taxes, minimum wage is going up, so you have to pay your employees more. You can't make payroll. Like it has never been like, it went from like 3 years ago, like, oh, being a business owner, entrepreneurship is super incentivized. Like we're getting these tax breaks, everything. And now it went from that 3 years ago to now it's like, oh yeah, if you want to be a business owner, fuck you.
Yeah.
We're going to make you pay your employees more. We're going to like tax you way more. And like, that's where the jobs come from, is small businesses.
Right.
Like, especially in the face of automation.
Yeah.
I feel like the direction we're going now is we're kind of like getting rid of entrepreneurship and getting rid of like, we're not incentivizing like creation or like making good products or good ideas, because it's like, why the fuck would I do that and get taxed up the ass when I can just go work at fucking Amazon and make full benefits? Like,
I think also too, like, it sucks to say, but like most consumers really just do not care at all.
Yeah.
Like most people are just gonna go for whatever's cheaper regardless. Like people don't care if their clothes are made by slaves. Realistically, they don't actually care.
Well,
you know what I mean?
And like I can't say nothing because like I buy from Nike.
Yeah,
so it's like,
that's what I mean. It's crazy because profits really are like the be all end all. Some people will specifically go for like companies that they believe in and like value, and some people will go for like local vegetable growers or things like that, or local people. But like most people, if you say, okay, all the things you buy are going to cost 5 to 10% more, but instead of going towards this giant corporation, it's going to go into the community. Most people are going to be like, well, that's still 5 to 10% that I'm going to have to pay extra.
Right. And I think like, and like, I'm not going to pretend like I'm above everyone. I don't do that. Like we're all guilty of it.
Yeah.
But especially in the US. But like me and Peyton started going to like the farmer's market every once in a while.
It's nice, man. It's
so
just a nice atmosphere.
And like now, instead of getting our, like we still go to Costco, but we don't buy our meat at Costco. We go to Hilmar.
Yeah.
Fucking Hilmar Meat, and we get all our meat there.
Yeah.
So it's just like, even though like it's still obviously like I still buy Nike clothes that fucking, you know, basically slaves make.
Yeah.
Which is like, yeah, like it really is just a whole US movement of like consumerism where it's like,
well, because
the cheaper it is, the more we're okay with the bad shit that goes into it.
Oh yeah, completely. It's weird, man. Like, so that's the reason I'm like, okay, like obviously we all kind of know like the right thing to do, but how difficult is it? Because not only is it that things are more expensive if you want to go for like local businesses and actually kind of like have an idea of who's making your shit, it's also like it's not easy to do that with certain things. It's kind of like going to a farmer's market, you know, not super difficult, also maybe not convenient sometimes, but like for clothes, like it's fucking hard to find clothes that, oh shit, I'll turn that on in a minute. It's fucking hard to find clothes that are even just made in this country, let alone in your own state or county.
Right.
Like it's, so some things, it's like the businesses have just been driven into the ground so hard.
Right.
It's like,
and yeah, I mean, it's almost the point where it's like, I mean, which the labor is so much cheaper. And I mean, why do you, like Hershey went to Mexico, fucking Nike gets all their work done in, like out of the country. Like it's because it's cheaper. It's because of the bottom line. And the thing that really sucks about it is like, this is how stupid the consumer is. Like how stupid we are as consumers is we eventually recognize all this. Like, dang, we're buying this shit because it's like good quality. We want it. And it's cheaper because of the cheap labor, but it's not really humane. What's our solution to that? Socialism, Marxism. Like that doesn't fucking fix it. Like it's not and it's on the extreme too. It's like, oh, well, we just need to not intervene at all, or like we need to do socialism. I'm like, there doesn't have to be a fucking super big overhaul of the whole system to fix a problem. Like, I think people take it so far, and just like they just want to throw out the baby with the bathwater.
Right.
Like, let's get rid of the whole system and build it from the ground up. I'm like, okay, let's set back our economy 20 years to make it more humane. When realistically, it's probably not going to be more humane if we do it anyway.
Yeah, I mean,
it just sucks because the consumer's so stupid. Like, us as consumers,
Yeah.
as like a nation, we think like we identify this problem and then we try to put this easy solution onto it. That's not a solution at all.
Yeah.
And it's like, why don't we actually discuss and look into like what can be a solution?
Yeah.
And it's like why? How can we get Ford to stay in Detroit and not make it a shithole?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's. I mean, that's like that one's even just done. Like it's
Well,
not even like
at that point, like that one is like done. But if people would have looked at it at the time, and been like, "Hey, what policies can we do? What can we do to make it to incentivize Ford staying in America?" Like,
Yeah.
I mean, we did it a little bit a few years ago, like, you know, putting the taxes and stuff on companies that get their labor from outside the country.
Right.
And it worked
Yeah.
like a little bit. And of course, it just got reversed.
Yeah.
Like, so it's like, but it's just, yeah.
I think it's just like
Consumerism makes people stupid.
Yeah, and like it's also like how do you make people actually want to buy things? Because it's like ideally people would want to put money back into their community, but most people just don't. You know what I mean? Especially, I don't know why it almost feels like it. You would think the older generations that grew up with more local businesses would want that more, but it feels like it's more like people our age that are like, oh, I would rather go to like a local small business, whereas like all the people I know that are like baby boomers are like, I don't give a fuck. I'm going for what's cheapest.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. It seems like it'd be the opposite, but like in my experience, that's kind of what I've noticed.
Well, and I think one of the reasons might be is because like with like the boom of consumerism over the last few decades, like people want to buy shit. People want stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I want the newest iPhone. One of the things that got lost is like kind of like, well, I mean, me as like being a Christian and being like looking at it spiritually, people have lost their sense of like stewardship. But really what that means in like secular terms is like people have lost their accountability and like their management of themselves and their lives and of money.
Right.
Because like it's so easy to like, I'm going to invest $100 every month starting at 20. And if that's all I do for the rest of my life, by the time I hit 60, 62, when I want to retire, I'll have $1 million to retire on. People don't do that. People buy shit and use all their income, live paycheck to paycheck. And it makes their life worse, and it makes them have way more stress. And when you can't even be a steward over your own life, when you can't even manage your own life, your own money, like your own pocketbook, like what makes us think we're going to be able to manage like these huge nationwide policies or worldwide policies or these problems in these big companies when we can't even handle our own lives? So I think that's the thing is like when we lost like a sense of like individual responsibility for the sake of I want more stuff.
Yeah.
I think we kind of lost our ability to like collectively check the things that are going wrong in society.
Yeah.
And I think that's why like you look over like we had the Civil Rights Act and everything, but you look at like the last 10, 20 years, like what productive social movement has happened?
You mean like policy wise?
Like policy wise or even just like activism wise. Like what is it? Like Occupy Wall Street, that was a shit show.
Yeah.
Like BLM, same thing. Like there has been no unified and collectively responsible activist movement that has been any good since the Civil Rights Movement.
Yeah, that's probably it, honestly. Maybe you could say like in the 70s with just the whole like, you know, green, like, because that's when like Earth Day started and everything. Maybe you could say that.
Fair enough.
But I think that really is it, though. It's like you have to look back to like the 70s.
Well, yeah.
And even then it's like.
I think a big part of it, like, that's what
fucking sucks.
That's what, that's kind of what and now that I bring it up, you're like, damn, this is kind of fucked up.
Well, it's just weird because, like, I mean, so many people have said this, but like, obviously, like, you look at like conservative politicians in the country, and the conservatives are conservative, and you look at like the liberal ones, and they're still basically just conservative, but with slightly different rhetoric. But they still all believe in like offshoring work, you know, decentralized government, and like none of them really.
Well, somewhat now. Now that it's getting a little blurred now. It is. I think it's starting to separate more very, very recently, like in the last decade. I think other than that,
You think so?
I think so. Because I think, well, I would say either it's starting to split or that we've started to see more popularity in the extremes of politics.
Yeah, but I think it's only extreme rhetoric-wise. Everybody basically does the same shit. Like, whether you're a Democrat or a conservative, you're still going to, like, just really do whatever benefits the rich people economically. You're not really going to shake things up socially that much.
I think if you're looking at, like, career politicians, absolutely.
Like, oh, yeah. I mean, career, like, politicians.
Yeah. I think where you get... I think what I'm thinking is because I think, like, you see Trump, and Trump is not a career politician.
Dude, Trump is weird, man.
Like he's just an
bizarre.
anomaly.
Yeah, I don't even...
So... But then it's weird because we went to, like, the main... Like, we went from, like... What we had, like, you know, you had the Bushes, Clinton, Obama, all like politicians. And then you have Trump, who's like, what? Like, why is he president? And then you go back to Joe Biden, which is another career politician.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a weird, like, spot on the U.S. president. Like, because it's like all these, like, okay, this makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
You're fired, guy.
And he's just he's a wild card too. Like, some things he did were like ultra conservative, some things were weirdly kind of liberal, and then some things were like, oh yeah, this is actually kind of cool. Some things you're like, oh my god, no, he's fucking it up. Like,
yeah, well, it was weird too because it was like he lived in New York. Everyone like thought like, isn't Trump like a liberal?
Yeah.
And then like he comes in with the super conservative rhetoric and all that, and does really a lot of conservative things. But then he throws you the prison reform and the what was it called, the gold ticket program.
That's the thing. He throws curveballs.
That's like very like a very liberal idea.
Yeah.
Now, like, not that it's bad weird. Because it's liberal.
No,
that was one of the pieces of legislation.
It was just surprising. It was like, what? This is not what you would have expected. Yeah. I don't know. He was weird, man.
Yeah. Hey, I'll be right back.
Okay. We're having a little intermission while Cody takes a phone call. Oh shit. Want to yeah, no, it's really weird though. Yeah, cuz that's what I mean when I say like they're all just kind of conservative. Is like if you look at Bush, Clinton, Obama, Biden, like they're all basically, you know, every politician since like the 80s, it's just all been variations of being conservative. It's like sometimes they're more center conservative, sometimes they're like far right, and like the rhetoric's different. Like if you look at the rhetoric of Obama compared to like Bush, it's night and day. But if you look at what they actually did, like, it's the same shit, man.
Bar Obamacare.
Yeah, exactly. And even that was, like, had no teeth. So it was sort of just a waste of time anyways.
But I think the main thing is, like, you see so many... I think the reason it seems like that is because you get a president in power or you have a majority in the House and the Senate. What does everyone try to do? Ensure that they're going to have the leverage and the power to be able to get elected again, to keep it. If the Democrats get elected, they want to keep it with Democrats.
Yeah.
If the Republicans get elected, they want to make sure the Republicans are done again.
Yeah.
All except Trump, who was just like, this is what I think and this is what I want to do. This is what I'm going to... And the fact that we think it's wild... Now, the rhetoric was completely wild. But if you look at it from a policy perspective, he just... Like, the stuff he said he wanted to do, the ideas he had, is what he tried to do. Whether it be the prison reform, whether it be the immigration reform, whether it be the tax breaks, like this is all stuff he's like, these are the policies I want to implement. I'm not worried about doing this so it looks good.
Yeah.
And some stuff he did like that. But for the most part, it was, I'm doing this because I think it's the best thing to be done.
Yeah.
But then when you have career politicians, they're like, okay, well, what is the strategic thing to do for me to get elected again or for another Democrat or Republican to get elected again?
Yeah.
I think that's the thing that was really different with Trump, and that's why it was so like weird.
Yeah. I mean, I just think too, like when's the last time we actually had a president who was like, oh, I'm going to actually like push policies that help the working class or like policies that do actual real social change or like things that don't just directly benefit rich
I mean, if we're talking
pharmaceutical
about
companies, corporations, you know.
benefiting the working class, the last one would be Trump.
Yeah, but even then, it's like there wasn't a lot.
Unemployment had never been lower. We had never gotten more jobs. The oil industry was like blossoming. So I would say, but before that, probably maybe Reagan, but even his policies were kind of soft on it because he tried to be really centrist. So it's
dude, his shit was like trickle down economics, which never worked. Like, you know what I mean? Like, his rhetoric was like, I'm a blue collar guy, I'm here for the working class, but like policy wise, he didn't do anything to help working class people.
He was too centrist to actually get anything done, but everyone liked him is the thing.
Yeah. And even like the rhetoric too was like, oh yeah, I'll help the working class people as long as you're not a black person living in poverty in like a poor community. You're fucked if you're those people.
In that case, here's the crime bill.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna get you in jail for having an ounce of coke for 30 years.
And that's what I mean when I say they're all conservative. Is like, you look at that and pretty much that whole like war on drugs, like anti, whatever policy, like that was carried by everybody. Like, it went through Reagan, it went to Clinton, it went to Bush, it went to Obama. It kind of got shook up with Trump, but now it's like, who knows what will happen. So it's like,
weird, what's going to happen with Biden.
Yeah,
he was one of the motherfuckers that wrote the bill.
Yeah, it's going to be the same shit. Yeah. It's just, it's weird, man. Like, I don't know. It's very strange. Because it's like the rhetoric is different for them, but it's like, you look at policies pretty much always the same.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's like, just talking like political strategy, like not even going back to what we were talking about, but like political strategy, it seems weird that they went with Biden.
Yeah,
the whole reason they went with him is because he claimed to be centrist.
Yeah.
And then he gets into office and is like the most, like, I don't want to say radical is like a bad thing, but the most like furthest to the left Democrat president that we've had. Yeah. Have you seen some of the stuff he's done? I'm like, he like campaigned on being centrist, and then he wants to open up borders. Not a centrist view. He wants to, pay immigrants, illegal immigrants who are separated at the border, wants to pay them $450,000 a family. Not a centrist view. And I just think the strategy behind labeling him as centrist and then having him get in and do these very far left things. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think you saw the effects of it in the recent elections where the Democrats did not do well in the elections. Mm-hmm. I mean, what state was it? Was it Massachusetts where like a career politician lost to a truck driver that has no political experience?
Interesting.
Yeah. So I think it's just weird that's the route they went.
Do you think too, though, like, because I don't know anything about the immigration policies, right? But like, do you think part of that too was also he's like, okay, all these billionaires need labor and there's a labor shortage and Americans aren't willing to work for that cheap, so fuck it, we need cheap labor to come in.
Yeah.
Because if you look at our economy, like a huge part of our labor, especially with like working class jobs, is like, immigrants really. Especially now, like a few years ago, even Americans were like slowly working less, but now it's like more than ever.
Yeah, I think more of it is I think it really has nothing. I really don't think it has anything to do with he wanted like immigrant workers. Mm-hmm. I really think it just has to do with him pushing that is like consistent with the narrative the DNC wants to push. Mm-hmm. I think that's legitimately the influence behind it. I don't think it's at all about like, oh, we need workers, but it's really not about that at all.
Oh, okay.
I think it's really just purely political, which is at this point is like everything that's being done in the House, Senate, in the fucking judiciary system, like in the presidency is just like, I mean, you see it with the whole Iran debacle of pulling out of Bagram. Yeah. Like that decision was made for political strategy, not for the safety of Americans, not for the safety of our servicemen and women. Yeah, it was purely made for political strategy.
You know what's crazy too? Like when we were pulling out of Afghanistan, I was like, this is so good. Like this is what we've been needing to do since we went in like 20 years ago. And I was like, fuck, this is so awesome. And then it just got whiffed so bad.
Because you were thinking like, at first off the reports, it's like, oh, they're going to last. There's 300,000. And then like there's 300,000 Afghan soldiers, blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, oh, the 300,000, that was false. Oh, the fact, like they literally had the inspector general inspecting the security forces for Afghanistan for the past few years and recently was saying like they're not ready, they're gonna fail.
Yeah, well,
And then we see recently, like literally weeks before Biden made the decision to pull out, he was told like, yeah, that the Afghan government and the security forces will like completely be wiped out in 90 days or sooner.
yeah, I mean,
And he still decided to pull out.
I don't think anybody, like, maybe I was wrong, but I was never under the assumption that they were going to be able to fight off the Taliban by themselves.
Right.
Like, I don't think anybody should have believed that was possible.
Fair enough. But if you were correctly under that assumption, why would you pull out troops and leave Bagram Air Force Base before all the civilians were out?
Yeah, no, that's the part where I'm like, okay, that was a fucking big whiff.
Because he wanted to be able to say, I pulled this out of Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Now, it backfired on him because he was stupid and did it in a stupid way and did it against the better judgment of all his advisors. And look what he tried to get it done before. What happened just like not too long after that decision was made? We're getting out of Afghanistan.
Mm-hmm.
The local and state elections happened.
Yeah, that's true.
Is that a coincidence?
Yeah, no, definitely. Like,
I mean, you're putting political strategy and getting more Democrats in office ahead of the lives and safety of American civilians and service members.
yeah,
That's where I'm like, and it's not because he's Democrat. Like, it's just because it was a political decision and
Yeah,
not
that's true.
a decision based on the welfare of the American people.
yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, because everybody was like, talking about how like, oh, the Taliban took right over, and it's like, well, yeah, that was always going to happen. Like, we can only prop up like a fake government in Afghanistan for so long, right? But like, but yeah, the fact that they left, and then it's like, well, okay, but we still have all these like reporters and civilians, and all the soldiers are gone now. So
and that's the thing.
like those guys should have came first. Like the
Right.
soldiers should have been the last people to leave. Like,
Exactly. And it's not that, like, I mean, it sucks either way that it fell that quickly because we were there for 20 years trying to build those forces and everything, and it just falls immediately. Like, that already sucks, but that's not what people are mad about.
Yeah.
People are mad that we're pulling out early, leaving people behind just so we can hit this deadline before an election.
It's crazy.
Like, that's bad. That looks real bad.
I wonder, man, we're getting into like some like crazy shit.
Remember when we first started the podcast, like what, fucking months ago? And we were
I thought you meant like
maybe
an hour ago.
Maybe we'll avoid politics. And now we're just like,
I don't know. I feel like this is a pretty like level-headed conversation.
Yeah, I don't think we're like, neither of us are like taking a political position.
Yeah.
We're just pointing out the unfortunate.
Because I think anybody can agree that like the way we pulled out was dumb. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like that's just like
it's not like a partisan thing. It's not like I'm a conservative and I think this, and I'm a liberal and I think it's like, no, everyone realizes if it would have been a Republican that made the same move, stupid.
Yeah.
If it was a Libertarian that did it, stupid.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's just
like making
whiffed.
Strategy, like making decisions in like inside an enemy country, like not an enemy but like inside a Taliban occupied country that's based politically and not strategically or based around the safety of our people, that's a dumb move.
Yeah.
Like,
it's crazy, man.
and like it's crazy how you see like all the people that are in the same political party are coming to the defense. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Like, I don't care if he's a Republican or a Democrat. I care that the decision was stupid and it cost people their lives.
Yeah.
That's what I'm worried about, you know?
Yeah. I wonder what's going to happen when, like, because, I mean, okay, so we left, and now there's still, like, all of these arms companies and, like, private militaries and stuff that now are, like, out of money. So it's like, there's no way we don't just get into another foreign war. Like,
well, that's what I'm saying. Not only we're back to square one, we're even further because now not only did the Afghan government fall again, not only is the Taliban basically in control of all of Afghanistan again, but now we just gave them millions and millions of dollars of weapons and equipment.
Oh yeah, no, that's not good.
that can be used.
That's
against
definitely
us.
bad.
So we're way past back to square one.
No,
I mean, the one thing Biden can do at this point, one, get the civilians that are still there out because there's still civilians there.
Yeah.
Which is blows my freaking mind. One, get them out. That's the first thing. Two, like, if you are gonna try to get rid of the Taliban again, don't do it in Afghanistan.
Well, we're never going to be able to control
Like,
these foreign countries.
Exactly. That's what I don't understand. Like,
but it's like, this is what we do. Like, we invade countries. We make them use the US dollar. We make them buy our oil. And then that's it, man. Like, that's what we do. Because, like, you look at Venezuela, that's why we invaded them. They said they were going to start trading oil in another currency. You look at Syria, that's why we invaded. Or Libya, you know, they said that they were going to start trading oil and gold. We invaded. You look at Afghanistan, you know, we needed the oil. Like, it all comes back to oil. So what I'm curious about is, like, pretty much, you know, our foreign policy for the last, like, few decades is like, okay, everybody needs to buy our oil and they need to trade it in our currency.
But we don't use our own oil.
Well, I mean, a decent amount, like, because isn't it only like 15% that comes from the Middle East?
Yeah, but like, we're not relying on it, because if we relied more on our oil industry as like actual world trade, more than we do now, like that's the reason that gas is so expensive. Because if we were like, we just in 2016 we found the largest oil reserve in the world in southern United States.
Yeah.
We don't need to get oil from anywhere.
Yeah.
But like we choose to, and we choose to not trade our oil because like oil is a commodity, blah blah blah, and then it it causes right now we're seeing gas is $4.50.
Yeah,
a gallon. Like, I wonder why. Maybe if we actually exported our oil, and did stuff like
I just wonder like what happens in like 60 years when we're like running out of oil and we can't leverage that in other countries anymore. Because like that's kind of the like people. You remember like 10 years ago when everybody was like talking about the New World Order? That was like thing that was like the conspiracy theory of like 2010 to like 2012. Like realistically, if there is a New World Order, it's the petrodollar. So I'm just wondering like what happens.
I don't see us running out of oil in 60 years. I really don't see it.
It could happen though. I mean, it's
really. I mean, we just found the
not even
biggest
run out, like,
oil reserve in the history of the world in 2016.
Yeah, I know, but we still roughly know, like, there's a limited amount, and it's not going to last more than, like, 100 years more. I mean, at least a good amount. Because, like, sure, there's still going to be oil, but when oil's $100 a gallon, nobody's going to be able to afford to drive to work. So, like...
Right, but we're not accounting for human ingenuity. Like, we have to use a lot less oil now than we did, 50 years ago.
Yeah, that's
because
true.
We have better, and also like I would hope 60 years from now we've started to embrace nuclear energy because that
we're
the cleanest and like the most like you're not going to run out of it.
Yeah.
Like it is the way to go realistically.
Yeah. No, my thing
we're
is
not using it because of a political thing though.
Yeah,
that's the thing it comes back. We don't do what's best for the country because of politics. And
nuclear is definitely the future.
I mean, of course.
Yeah. No, my thing is though, I'm just wondering, right? So like. When we're like running out of oil and everybody starts shifting away from it and it gets to the point where we like can't leverage that against other countries, like what's going to be the new like world? What's going to like align power in the world, right? Because if we can't
according to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, it's going to be solar and wind power.
Yeah, no, that's not going to happen. I mean, it'll supplement, but it's not.
Let's cripple the world economy and cripple every. Like the U.S. economy by rebuilding our whole place with solar and wind. When, like you see, even just in Germany, which is a much smaller country, they will have a surplus of energy in the summer, like because of the solar.
Yeah. But
they will have times in the winter when they just don't have energy.
Yeah.
And it's like if you can't even hold up a country the size of Germany with solar, what makes you think we're going to be able to hold up the U.S. with solar?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's not going to, like, we're not going to work, but...
Yeah, like...
I
mean, nuclear energy is the most environmentally friendly.
Yeah.
And the most efficient energy source.
Yeah, it's really crazy, like, how good it is.
And we don't use it.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
But no, I'm just curious, though, like... Because right now, it's like we, all of our wars for the last, like, 50 years have been pretty much oil-based. So I'm just curious, like, after...
Whoa! War on terrorism.
Yeah,
there was no alternate motives.
Yeah, it was terrorism. Terrorism. There's people doing bad things. We can't let that happen in countries with good oil and United States dollars to trade it in. Yep. We can't let that happen, brother.
Can't happen.
No, man. I'm just. I don't know. It'll be weird in like 50 years when like, because we can't. use that power for much longer. So it's sort of like, what do we do when we get to the point where, because the dollar is gonna have to not even collapse per se, but it's not gonna be
as robust.
Yeah, because now we can base our dollar. We can use our dollar in so many countries because we force them to buy oil with our currency. But like when that's not a thing anymore and we can't use that power play, it's like, what happens?
Yeah, like what is going to be like the thing that represents power?
Yeah,
right. Like you said, right now it's oil.
Yeah.
Theoretically, if it ran out, what would be the thing to replace it?
Yeah, because like other countries hold our money because they're confident in our economy, and our economy is like, oh fucking shit.
Then the world would be fucked.
I'm just curious, like what's gonna be the?
I mean, it used to be gold. Could go back to gold.
Yeah, but I don't like. It's not useful for anything. You know what I mean? So it's like it is a tangible material that you can base an economy off of. But at the end of the day, like, you know, gold doesn't keep industry moving. You know what I mean? So it's like gold's always going to be there, but it's not like.
I think the main thing is it'll be some other type of energy source.
Yeah, it's going to have to be.
Whoever is the biggest exporter or most in the control of whatever is bringing the world energy is going to be who has the power.
And that's interesting too with nuclear, because you can pretty much just do nuclear anywhere.
Right. Like, that's the thing. That's why and like, it's not like you have to get rid of oil. Like,
yeah, no.
Because let's be real, nuclear cars probably not going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, that's not a thing that's going to happen. But like, it's realistic to use nuclear in conjunction with oil.
Yeah.
And like massively reduce the amount of oil you have to use.
Yeah. That's what I mean when I say like run out of oil is more just once we get to the point where oil is so expensive that we're not using it solely for like the way we run the country, basically.
Right.
To where it gets to a point where it's just one of the ways that we produce energy, not the one way that we do and like make other people. Right. So I don't know. It's kind of weird. We should. What time is it?
6:30.
Oh, you know what?
Damn, we've been going a while.
We've been going. I should text Mike right now.
I looked at Dutch Bros on social media, and you offer one free drink. Holy shit! Like I've been in there like long lines before, just in normal business.
Yeah.
But the picture they posted was absolutely insane.
What was the drink?
It's just like you get a free. I think it's like family night or something, and they're just giving out one free drink with every order or whatever.
Dude, they really want there to be a riot.
For real, that's what I'm thinking. And no, I don't know what it is, but no Dutch Bros is put in a parking lot that can handle the business thing.
Dude, why is that? Yeah,
I don't know.
That's
the
so
only
fucking
one
true.
I've seen that kind of can is the one in Oakdale by the Save Mart.
And even then, bro.
But even then, it gets totally backed up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. When everybody collectively decides to go to Dutch Bros at like Friday at 8 p.m., dude, that place, like, you can't get through the parking lot. It's insane. And it's on this super busy road too, so it's like
I'm like, they just choose the worst locations to put them at.
They do. I don't know why. I don't know if it's that Dutch Bros is that busy that
it doesn't matter where they are.
It doesn't matter. Like, or if it's, I don't know what it is, bro. Dutch Bros just fucks up cities
for real. Like,
I hate it, man.
They put one in Modesto on McHenry, and now that stretch of McHenry where the Dutch Bros is next to fucking is awful.
It destroys
so bad.
It doesn't matter. Like, okay, people, it's so funny to think there's these planners that plan out cities and like design them to be efficient so that traffic can get around and like, you know, people can get things done.
Gets
and
fucked
like
up by one Dutch
all it
Bros.
takes is all this thought to design cities to be good for like business and everything, and it takes one Dutch Bros to just fuck it all up.
Fucked.
Yeah, and it just doesn't matter at that point.
I know, it's crazy.
You made a 10-lane freeway? All right. Doesn't matter.
We put one Dutch Bros on exit 5.
Yep.
Now it's backed up 100% of the time.
Yep. You got a town of only like 15,000 people, and you have a little parking lot on like the edge of town. Doesn't matter.
Dutch Bros, whole town's crowded.
I don't even want to mention Turtle Rocks because it really is just in the worst spot.
For like,
there was no foresight with that one.
That is the worst of them.
Oh yeah,
100%. It's like, because it's right next to Domino's, which is also fairly busy. And then, actually, have you tried that sandwich place right there too, Sourdough Co?
No, I haven't.
God, it's so fucking good.
That kind of sounds good. A sandwich.
It's so good.
Man, sandwiches are like Just a good sandwich. Like you just get like they can be simple or they can be complicated, but if you just got like we needed to go to that Italian that like deli in Oakdale. Fressi's. Dude, those sandwiches, oh my god, dude. You might bust. I'm just gonna warn you. Yeah, no, but anyways, yeah, I don't know what it is with Dutch Bros, man. But we should probably wrap up this episode.
Yeah. So people are gonna. I bet you were gonna lose a lot of people with the whole politics talk.
Oh man,
It's
we
fun,
went
though.
I feel like this was a really like existential episode.
I know.
We started off with like, what did we? Oh,
It's
actually
'cause
no. The
Cameron-
beginning
it's 'cause
was kind
Cameron wasn't here to get confused.
yeah. You know what?
Fucking
The beginning
idiot.
actually, I was gonna say the beginning was kind of doomsday-ish too, but no, it actually wasn't. It was just like how is social media. It was kind of existential, but
was.
like it just got darker the more the episode went on.
Yeah.
It went from like, oh, it's gonna be crazy when you can like play golf at a sports bar and like do VR in the room, and then it
Like,
went to like
When
so
the
what are we
world
gonna
ends and oil's gone, what makes us
so,
powerful?
Hey guys, so what's gonna be chill whenever the world collapses and like or the dollar falls apart? That's gonna be sick.
That'll be fun, you know?
Oh man, but no, next week will be more lighthearted.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get roasted about our political views.
Well, yeah, because we don't know shit. So like, there's definitely gonna be somebody like.
Heads up, I'm not a poli-sci major. I'm a communications major. So anything I say, I don't know what I'm talking about. So you don't have to worry.
Yeah, we learned what we know from Infowars. That's where we got all our info. Actually,
All my opinions are just Alex Jones' opinions.
Yeah, directly from the spout, bro.
Let's talk about the frogs being gay, you know?
Oh yeah, dude, the frogs. The frogs are gay.
Do it, Joe. Choke me. Do it, Joe.
Choke me. Come on, Joe. I've done it before. Come on, Joe. Choke me right now. I'm not scared. All right.
I
Later,
hope you guys enjoyed that.